Welcome to a chilly night at Fenway Park as we play the rubber game of the three-game series between the Orioles and the Red Sox. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, and welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, tonight, Alfredo Aceves is on the mound for the Red Sox. The season before last, Alfredo came in and was really in competition for a spot in the Red Sox rotation. This year, he was not coming into spring training, but still wanted to be a starter. Certainly great value in being able to spot start, and that's exactly what he's going to do tonight. As a starter in his career, tonight marks his 10th start as he comes in at 2-1 with an ERA just over 4, used many more times as reliever with an ERA of 3.56. And tonight he'll be matched up against Chris Tillman from Fenway Park. And Jerry, heading into tonight's outing for Alfredo Aceves, certainly important to have a guy like this on your staff.
Well, he's so versatile, Don. You know, a guy that can do a lot of things. We've seen him close for the Red Sox. We've seen him be a setup guy for the Red Sox, a long man, and, of course, now a starter. And a starter is what he's always wanted to be. You mentioned a couple of years ago in spring training he was stretched out like one. He was frustrated when he was not a starting pitcher on that ball club. And in this spring he went to spring training again. They stretched him out again, but he ended up in the bullpen where he's so valuable. But tonight, because of the injury to John Lackey, he gets a chance to start against the Baltimore Orioles. They actually flip-flop him and DeBrant so he can get to start against Baltimore tonight. They wanted the right-hander going against this ball club, so he has a chance to shine in this game tonight.
No doubt last night the most difficult loss of the season for the Red Sox to date, but there were some positives. A big night at the plate for Jared Saltalamacchia.
Well, he is swinging the bat very well right now, and especially pitches in his zone. He's not missing them. He had a huge night last night with a couple of doubles. This first one right there in a breaking ball, hitting it straightaway off the wall in center field area there. And then he has another double later on in the ball game, a ball that's going to go up over the head of the right fielder Markakis, and then the home run pitch, a fastball just about belt high at the hands that he takes out of the ballpark, and that's on a cold night at Fenway Park. So right now, Saltalamacchia is in a great groove. He's not missing the pitches that he generally hits.
Going to be a chilly night here tonight at Fenway Park, maybe the coldest so far this season. The Red Sox and Orioles. Jenny Dell will be along to tell us more about Alfredo Aceves right after this. Dunkin' Donuts, Toyota's official website for deals, via Toyota.com, and by Southwest Airlines. Well, welcome you back to Fenway Park as the Red Sox and Orioles get ready for Game 3 of this three-game series. Let's send it down to Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, pitching coach Juan Nieves said it's pedal to the metal when working with Alfredo Aceves, and he said they have a plan going into tonight, and if he can stick to that plan, the sky is the limit for Alfredo. And John Farrell said he's hoping to go at least 6 innings or beyond with Alfredo tonight. And with that, AT&T brings us tonight's Twitter question. What are your expectations for Alfredo Aceves in the Sox' first spot start of the season? Send us your comments at hashtag AcevesStart, and we'll bring you the best tweets from Red Sox Nation later in tonight's game.
Well, Alfredo Aceves matched up against Chris Tillman. We're back at Fenway Park with the first pitch right after this. The series, and last night certainly the toughest loss of the year for the Red Sox. Jared Saltalamacchia talking a little bit about Joel Hanrahan's outing last night, and it is part of our quote of the day presented by Geico, and it's from catcher Jared Saltalamacchia. Feels like last night's ninth inning for Joel Hanrahan was nothing more than a fluke. I still feel that Joel's got some of the best stuff I've ever caught. It's explosive out of his hand, and even when he misses, they go by people. 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you, he closes the door, and we're going to count on that. As Joel Hanrahan last night getting the blown save, and the loss is part of last night's defeat for the Red Sox, as the Orioles coming from behind in dramatic fashion with 2 outs to win last night's game 8-5. And the Red Sox, having won the first game of the series 3-1, tried to win the series. Of course, the Red Sox have won every series so far, winning at Yankee Stadium in that 3-game series, and then in Toronto. As the Red Sox take the field tonight, as they do, let's check out the visiting Baltimore Orioles starting 9. Nate McLeod leads it off. He's in left field. Manny Machado at third base. Nick Markakis is a DH batting third with Adam Jones in center field. Chris Davis at first base with Matt Wieters doing the catching. He bats sixth. J.J. Hardy at shortstop bats seventh with Chris Dickerson in right field. He bats eighth. And Alexei Casillas at second base. He bats ninth. The Orioles lineup is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. On the mound tonight for the Red Sox is Alfredo Aceves. His third appearance of the year, first start that he has made this season without a record. 10.38 earned run average and 4 1/3. He's given up 5 hits, walked 2 and struck out 5. Aceves getting ready for his first start of 2013.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are currently 4th in the American League. 2 errors in 8 games. Will Middlebrooks will be at third base. Stephen Drew, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Mike Napoli, the first baseman, left to right. Jackie Bradley Jr., Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. And Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching for Aceves.
Well, the umpiring crew here, the crew chief, Jim Joyce, has a plate tonight calling the balls and strikes with Jim Wolf at first base, Ed Hickox at second base, and Corey Blazer is the umpire at third. Tonight's game is available in Spanish by pressing the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Well, the conditions tonight, 47 degrees. Breeze in from right at 8 miles per hour. Feels a little bit chillier than that, and the wind a little more than that. Forecast is a chance of showers as we play tonight. And Red Sox having a rain delay last night, starting the top half of the 6th inning of last night's ball game. And end of the night as it turned out for Ryan Dempster. There's no rain delay. Would have come back out again, said John Farrell. And Dempster not part of the decision in last night's game. As Alfredo Aceves climbs the hill. Nate McLeod about to stand in. 6 for 24 to begin the year for McLeod. First pitch of the ball game is a fly ball out to left center field. Jacoby Ellsbury is under it, and he makes the catch for the first out of the game.
Well, McLeod not waiting around. First pitch fastball from Aceves. And the fly ball out to center field. Jacoby Ellsbury there to make the play.
Here's Manny Machado hitting at 200 on the year. His big 3-run home run, the big blast in last night's game. 4 RBIs on the season for Machado. He takes strike 1. Back to the fastball for Aceves. Orioles coming in with a record of 4-4 on the year. Red Sox 5-3 as Buck Showalter and the Orioles trying to get back to the postseason again. Winning the wild card last year. Trying to pick up that outside corner and could not as Aceves falls behind 2-1.
A little cut fastball outside from Aceves, just missing the corner.
Now to right center field, headed towards the gap, and that's going to get down to the track on the wall. Victorino back to play it as Machado is thinking 3. Throw from Pedroia to third base is going to be in time. He's out. Now trying to stretch it out was Machado, trying to get a triple out of it, but Pedroia on the cutoff from short right center field guns him down at third base.
Perfect relay executed by the Red Sox right there. A sure double. Fastball out over the plate. Then Machado hits into that gap all the way out to the Red Sox bullpen. But there's the throw coming in from Pedroia, and Middlebrooks is just there waiting for Machado at third base. Excellent execution on the relay. Outfield to second baseman to third baseman.
So 2 down, and Nick Markakis the batter. As Markakis, the DH tonight, gets the night off from playing defensively in right field. 333 with a home run, 3 runs batted in for Markakis. In there for strike 1.
Had there been nobody out, Machado probably would not have tried to go to third base on that. But with 1 out, he did make the attempt and was out by a good 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, Markakis will send it to shallow left. Bradley Jr. with a late break, but he comes in and is able to pick it. Nicely done by Jackie Bradley Jr. It's an 8-pitch inning. And a nice relay for the second out of the inning as they gun down Machado at third base. Sox coming up. Their starting batting order is brought to you by New England Chevy Dealers. Kobe Ellsbury leads it off in center field with Shane Victorino in right field. Dustin Pedroia at second base. Mike Napoli at first base with Will Middlebrooks at third. Daniel Nave is the DH back in there again, batting sixth with Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching. Big night last night for him. Stephen Drew at shortstop. And Jackie Bradley Jr. just made a nice catch in left field tonight for the Red Sox. Chris Tillman on the mound tonight for the O's in his first game, a no decision against the Minnesota Twins. Lasted just 3 2/3 innings and gave up 5 runs in that outing. 93 pitch outing. As he misses to Ellsbury and falls behind 2-0. Ellsbury hitting at 270. The home run, 8 runs batted in coming into tonight. Sends this one foul down the left field line, out of play.
2 very good defensive plays in that first inning for the Red Sox. Victorino with his throw into Pedroia, and of course Jackie Bradley Jr. with that fine play for the final out of the inning. Last look at Jackie Bradley's nice play to end the first inning as he is able to glove it just before it hits the ground.
Full count to Ellsbury. Ellsbury, Victorino, Pedroia here in the first inning. Red Sox trying to get out to a quick start today. It is raining again in Cleveland tonight. This one is towards center field, but cut off by Hardy. His throw is going to be off the mark, and of course great speed by Ellsbury, who reaches at first base. It is a base hit.
Now J.J. Hardy did everything he possibly could by covering the ground up the middle, but to have to cover that much ground and make a throw that long, no way. You got to get Jacoby Ellsbury at first base with his speed.
So base hit for Jacoby. Get things started tonight and brings up Shane Victorino out to a 3-13 start to start the year. 5 runs batted in. Victorino's really settled into this number 2 spot in the Red Sox order. Was 0 for 3 in last night's game with an RBI. Did have a sacrifice fly in last night's game. And on the grass at third is Manny Machado. And that's in there for strike 1-1.
Wheat is tough to run on the catcher for the Baltimore Orioles. He's thrown out 4 of the 5 runners that have tried to steal against him so far this season. Davis, the first baseman, playing just off the bag as he plays for just about everybody.
You know, Chris Tillman, 24 years of age, from Anaheim, California. Came along with Adam Jones, George Sherrill, the left-handed pitcher Tony Butler, and left-hander Eric Bedard coming over from the Seattle Mariners organization. Worked out to be a big deal for the Orioles. George Sherrill was their closer for a while, and Adam Jones has been terrific out in center field. A check on Ellsbury, who's back to the bag at first. 4 for 4 so far in the season for Ellsbury. Tillman's last start of the year last year was September 28th, and it was against the Red Sox at Camden Yards in Baltimore. He allowed 1 hit, a leadoff bunt single by Scott Podsednik for the only hit he would allow over 8 innings. Faced 1 batter over the minimum in the final 7 innings of his outing. And the check on Ellsbury, back to the bag. Orioles infield a double play depth as Victorino ahead 3-1 and sends one right side to second. Casilla to second for 1, on to first. It is not in time. Victorino able to beat it out. They do get the lead runner in Ellsbury for the first out of the inning.
Now the good speed by Victorino, hustling down that line, trying to stay away from the double play, and does. Casilla had to go just a couple of steps to his left, spin throw to Hardy, and the return throw not quite in time to get Victorino at first base. Guys that can run, if that second baseman has to go a couple of steps to his left, a lot of times you're not going to get that double play.
You know, Dustin Pedroia checking in at 323, batting out of the 3 spot as he has all season. He takes strike 1. Shane Victorino, who's at first base, was 4th in the National League with a career high 39 stolen bases between his time spent in Philadelphia and LA with the Dodgers. Was traded at the trade deadline to the Dodgers. He in the dirt, knocked down by Wieters, but Victorino staying at first base.
A very nice block there by Matt Wieters, and the ball bouncing up the first base line. With that, Victorino has to stay at first base. There's that curveball over the top. Looks like a knuckle curve, and that ball blocked nicely by Wieters.
Last 2 years, Matt Wieters has been a Gold Glove Award winner. Pedroia fouled it back at him in the count at 2-2.
Good healthy cut there by Pedroia. Pedroia, a .364 hitter against Tillman. Had the fastball he wanted, but fouled it straight back.
Adam Jones, the center fielder, step or two towards right center. As Victorino with a good size lead at first base. Noticing was Tillman and fires over. Orioles first baseman not holding the runner on from the bag, kind of stands in front of him, 3 steps off the bag, and then backpedals to the spot. That's the way Davis has been doing it the entire series. Swing and a miss as Pedroia strikes out. 2 down here in the first inning. Big strikeout for Tillman.
Tillman keeping that fastball down in the zone. Pedroia upset with himself, missing a couple of fastballs in that at bat. That one right at the bottom of the strike zone. The pick zone on NESN is brought to you by Amica. Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance.
2 down runner at first for Mike Napoli. 176 start to Mike Napoli's Red Sox career. 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. And there for strike 1 at 92 from Tillman. Napoli 0 for 3 in last night's game with a walk. .24 home runs a year ago for Mike Napoli in 108 games with the Texas Rangers. Most home runs he's had in any season, 30 home runs in 2011. His first stop in the majors was with the Angels before going to Texas. Inside for ball 2. Last night the Yankees and Indians were postponed due to rain, and start of that game is being delayed again tonight by rain.
Some bad weather heading across country.
Napoli grounds it softly towards Machado at third base on the run. In time, able to get Napoli at first base and to end the first inning. Through 1, no score from Fenway. the series against the O's here on NESN. And follow the Bruins-Islanders game on NESN Plus. To find your NESN Plus channel, visit NESN.com/NESN Plus. And we'll be checking in with Jack and Brick tonight, throughout the night. 7 minutes left to go in the first period. No score tonight between the Islanders and Bruins. As we play here into the second inning at Fenway Park, no score here either. And Adam Jones will ground one back towards the mound. Nicely speared on the backhand by Aceves. Firing to first for the out. Nicely done by Alfredo for the first out of the inning.
That would be a good way to describe it, Don. Firing it to first. Aceves with a nice backhanded play, and then about a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to first base to get the out.
One down here in the second inning, and it brings up Chris Davis. 11 for 28 so far for Davis. Already got 18 RBIs on the season and 5 home runs. It's been off to an amazing start so far for the O's. Red Sox into the shift on the right side. Pedroia in short right field. Will Middlebrooks coming from third base to the right side. Only Stephen Drew left on the left side of the Red Sox infield. Almost hits Davis as he dances out of the way. Aceves falling behind 2-0. You may remember Chris Davis pitched in a game here last year at Fenway Park. Got the win in 2 scoreless innings pitched back on May 6th of last year. Becoming the first American League position player to earn a victory on the mound since Rocky Colavito back in 1968. This one is driven high and deep to right center field, and that ball is gone beyond the bullpen and into the bleachers. A blast for Chris Davis, his 6th home run of the year, RBI number 19, and Baltimore takes a 1-0 lead.
And the way he's swinging the bat, he gets the green light right there on the 3-0 count. And he is all over the Aceves fastball there on the 3-0 count. Aceves trying to get a strike, but Davis ready for it, and that ball carried a long way in cold weather.
Took him till May 21st last year to pick up home run number 6 of the year. He's got it already on April 11th of this season. Tough to beat the start for Chris Davis. Now Matt Wieters takes the 1-0. It's 2-0. Six home runs, 19 RBIs on the year for the Orioles first baseman. 2-0 pitch will miss. 3-0. So second straight batter that Aceves has fallen behind 3-0. Wieters taken all the way, and he takes ball 4 and heads down to first base. One out walk for Matt Wieters as Aceves tries to grab his bearings here in the second inning after the home run by Chris Davis. 1 out, 1 on for J.J. Hardy. Just a 194 batting average for Hardy. A slow start to the year, although he does have 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. His 3rd season now with Baltimore as he takes strike 1. Led all American League shortstops last year in games played, 158 and putouts, 244. And a .992 fielding percentage. The highest for an Orioles shortstop since Mike Bordick. .998 fielding percentage in 2002. And Mike now broadcasting for the Orioles. One. He is over the outside corner for a strike, 1-2.
Almost an identical same pitch right there. That time called the strike on the cut fastball by Aceves.
Swing and a miss, and Aceves battles back to strike out J.J. Hardy. First strikeout of the night for Aceves, 2 down.
Aceves back to the fastball to pick up the strikeout. So the cut fastball followed by the straight fastball, and J.J. Hardy continues to have his problems against Aceves. He came into the game 167 against Alfredo.
Well, Chris Dickerson, last year a member of the New York Yankees. His first start of this season, came into the game last night to pinch run as part of the big 9th inning for Baltimore. Well, Friday on the Dennis and Callahan Show, DNC will break down the rubber match between the Sox and Orioles and react to Tigers' first day at the Masters. It all begins at 6 a.m. right here on Nesson and on 93.7 EEI FM. Dennis and Callahan, the most listened to morning show in New England. Dickerson takes a pitch for a ball, 1-1.
I was watching some of that golf in the Red Sox clubhouse this afternoon. I think Tiger shot at 70 today in the first round, which is par.
So I'm told 70 is the correct number.
There's a 14-year-old kid on the tour. I don't know his name.
That.
You see him?
Yeah, I did. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Outside to Dickerson, and it is 2-1. Dickerson spending the majority of last year at AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. The Yankees AAA at .316 there in 69 games. Joined the Yankees in September. Shoots this one foul and out of play. Homered in his first game last year up with the Yankees, and his first at bat was against the Baltimore Orioles. And see his numbers in 25 games with New York last year. Leaders at first, 2 down. And Dickerson strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Aceves. Chris Davis with a home run has put the Orioles on top by 1. Proud supporter of volunteers. Go to Advil.com to find out about the Advil Relief in Action campaign. Bottom of the second inning. Baltimore on top 1-0 thanks to a home run by Chris Davis. As Will Middlebrooks leads it off here in the home half of the second inning. Middlebrooks, Nava, and Saltalamacchia scheduled to bat here in the second. Middlebrooks was 0 for 4 in last night's game and so far 0 for 7 in the series. Daniel Nava waiting on deck for the Red Sox here in the second inning. To right field, Dickerson coming in with good speed to dive and make the catch head first. Sinking liner off the bat of Middlebrooks. At first looked like it was going to drop in, but Dickerson with some good speed makes the catch.
I took a look up and looked where Dickerson was playing, and he was playing pretty shallow for Middlebrooks, which gave him a chance to make this play. I mean, charging hard. I'm not sure he had to dive for it, but it's almost like he fell down after he made the catch. Regardless, a nice play by Dickerson.
One down here in the second inning for Daniel Nava. Nava showing bunt, grabbing the attention of Machado at third base, but he takes the strike in the process. Nice start for Nava. 467 homers in each of the last 3 games for Daniel Nava. Well, the 3 home runs in 3 games for Nava started on Sunday, then on Monday. And last night, Nava with a home run in game 2 of this series. Opposite field shot into the monster seats. Elevating is Tillman, and he strikes out Nava. Second K for Tillman, 2 down.
It's one of the few times that Nava has found himself behind in the count, and once he fell behind in the count, they elevate the fastball on the 0-2 count, and no contact by Nava.
2 down, 5 in a row, retired by Chris Tillman, and it brings up Jared Saltalamacchia.
It seems like most of the at-bats that Nava has had have been 8, 9, 10 pitches. Only 3 that time.
Quite a night last night for Saltalamacchia. 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles and a home run. Did not play in the first game of the series. There's David Ross got the start on the home opener. A little dribbler back towards Tillman, who's off the mound. He'll pick and throw. And a 1-2-3 second inning for Chris Tillman. Through 2 from the fens. The Orioles are on top by 1. One where the Sox get a save. CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital as they aim for a goal of $25,000 in donations this season. Top of the third inning as Alexei Casilla gets his first start of the series. Second baseman drags one down the first baseline. Aceves is going to flip to first for the out. Nicely done. Pedroia was there as well, but Aceves is able to pick it on the drag bunt bid by Alexei Casilla.
Yeah, very much under control was Aceves on that particular bunt. He's trying to get it by the pitcher, but Aceves has the chance to make the play. He takes a look to make sure that Napoli's at first base. He then fields it in a nice underhand flip. See him take the look toward Napoli, see if anybody was at the bag, and then he makes the pickup and the flip to first base for the out.
One down here in the third inning. Nate McLouth takes strike one. They fly out to the center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury on the first pitch of the game. He's been leading off for the Orioles. This is right back off the glove of Aceves. Pedroia will charge and have no play. Aceves getting a piece of that. It slows it down, and it's a base hit for Nate McLouth.
Almost had it. That was a bullet right back to the glove of Aceves, and really all he could do is knock it down. By the time it gets by him, looks like it hit him in the thumb of the glove. Really no play at all for Pedroia. He just wisely holds on to the baseball. But there's that rocket right back to Aceves' glove side.
One out, one on. Manny Machado, the batter. He doubled and was thrown out at third base, trying to stretch it into a triple. Back to the bag at first is McLouth. Two for two so far in the year for McLouth. Alfredo Aceves with 2 strikeouts, a walk. He has given up now a total of 3 hits. The big one was the home run by Chris Davis in the second inning, and the difference in the game. To third base, Middlebrooks with a bobble. Throw to second for one, on to first, and that's going to pull Napoli off the bag. Remember, he had to hurry after the bobble by Middlebrooks at third base. They do get the lead runner in McLouth for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, it was like rush hour after the little bobble right here by Middlebrooks. He drops it, and that's going to cause the late throw to first base, although a nice effort by Pedroia right there, but they could not complete the double play.
Jack and Brick, can you hear us? Right now, the Orioles have a 1-0 advantage here at Chili Fenway outside. How are things going on over there? Now, Chris Davis here has got a home run for the Orioles off Alfredo Aceves, who has thrown 34 pitches and has 2 outs in the third inning. What things have to happen for the Bruins in the second period, Brick? All right, thanks very much, guys. Back to you, Dale. Aceves will flip to first for the out that retires Nick Markakis and ends the top half of the third inning. Baltimore with a 1-0 lead.
Welcome back to Fenway Park. Bottom of the third, Orioles up 1. Stephen Drew at the plate right now, and there was questions about how Jose Iglesias would handle the demotion down to AAA Pawtucket after Stephen Drew was back with the team. And he spoke to the media before tonight's game in Pawtucket, and he said that he has his confidence back and he knows what he needs to do to get onto the field and help that team win. He said he's going to go and continue to do that every single day with the same intensity that he did up here.
Well, you hope he keeps that approach. You know, sometimes guys go down to AAA, and certainly after they've had success here, it's very, very difficult. And he did have success here to begin the year.
Now, that's an excellent point, Don. You know, it's very frustrating when you're playing well at the major league level to have to all of a sudden go back to AAA. And a lot of times guys go back with a bad attitude. And that just hurts them when they get down there. But Iglesias sounds like he's accepted it. He's going to go down, continue to work hard, and who knows what the future holds.
Well, Stephen Drew in his second game in a Red Sox uniform last night, 0 for 4 in his debut as he tries to settle in. Jumps ahead in the count, 3-1. Stephen Drew, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Jacoby Ellsbury batting in the third. Ball 4, Drew down to first base. He gets aboard here to begin things in the third inning.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we saw Tillman a couple of times during spring training this year face the Red Sox.
Was I there?
Yeah, I think you were there, Don.
Jackie Bradley Jr. is 3 for 23 so far to begin his major league career. 130 batting average coming in. On the grass at third, Manny Machado. Back to the bag easily is Stephen Drew. And severe injuries to both ankles really set him back. In his final year in Arizona, came over to the Oakland A's, part of their ball club who went to the postseason last year, and by all accounts very healthy this year, exception of the concussion that he had in spring training. As far as the ankles go, in good shape. There is ball 2, and it is 2-0.
And Jackie Bradley Jr. ahead in the count, 2-0 again. He's got 6 walks on the season.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Coors Light. Chris Davis, the first player in Orioles history to have 5 home runs through Baltimore's first 8 games. Albert Pujols had 2 doubles last night for the Angels. Comes the first player in Major League history with 1,000 extra base hits through his 13 seasons. And the Rays have 3 team shutouts already this season, the most ever through the team's first 9 games. 2-0 pitch is a strike over the inside corner.
That's a lot of hard facts right there. That's 3 of them.
3 facts.
I get lost after facts. 2.
You didn't catch a third one?
I didn't catch the third one.
The Rays have a 3-team shutout. They have 3 team shutouts already this season. So
already.
That means as a team, they have 3 shutouts already this season. And it's the most ever through the team's first 9 games.
Well, the Rays always come up with that pitching, don't they? Two-one count, maybe a hit and run count. Right now, Bradley Jr. looking down at the signs from Brian Butterfield. A couple of throws to first base against Drew.
Two-one is grounded foul outside the bag at third, 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Jackie Bradley Jr. strikes out. Third K for Tillman.
Good curveball that time dropped on Bradley Jr. And again, keeping the ball inside on Jackie, and that time they put him away with the big swing and miss. I tell you, he takes a big swing. That time, no contact on the breaking ball.
One on, one out. And Jacoby Ellsbury, the batter. Grounds it foul over by the on-deck circle. Second at bat tonight for Ellsbury against Tillman. He singled in the first inning. An infield hit. J.J. Hardy was able to get to it in behind the bag at second, but Ellsbury with too much speed able to beat it out. This one foul back and out of play. 0-2. Shane Victorino waiting on deck. Red Sox batting in their half of the third inning. Trailing 1-0 thanks to a Chris Davis home run to right center field above the bullpen and into the bleachers. Is bluffing a throw to first base as Drew sprawled back to the bag. You never know with Wieters, not afraid to throw it around.
Especially when a left hand is at the plate. Try that pickoff at first base, throw behind the runner. We mentioned the great percentage he's got so far throwing out runners. 4 of 5 so far this season going against him.
You think of him, you think of Alex Avila, guys who are not afraid to throw it around, and high percentages of throwing out base runners. Two. What guys are you leery of, catchers that could throw around the bases in your era?
One guy I was always afraid of was Jim Sundberg, who caught for the Texas Rangers at that time. He made you very uncomfortable at first base.
Three-two is strike three. Ellsbury hates it. He'll take with him the fourth strikeout for Chris Tillman. 2 down.
That looked like a pretty good pitch. We'll take a look again, and Tillman with that fastball of the inside part of the plate. You see where Wieters had to reach across, and it made it look like a ball, I think, to Ellsbury, but it did look like it had the plate.
So 2 down. Stephen Drew still at first base, and Shane Victorino the batter. Victorino reaching on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Not getting the benefit of the call that time was Tillman on the inside corner. Victorino getting his second look at Chris Tillman tonight. There's a strike. 1-1.
1-0 count. Tillman that time comes with a changeup at 84 miles an hour.
This is lined into right center field, a base hit. Stephen Drew heads for third base as it is gathered out there and sent back in again by Dickerson. And first and third for the Red Sox here with 2 outs in the inning. Shane Victorino gets a base hit. Well, join TC tomorrow and before every Friday home game this season for 30 extra minutes of Red Sox pregame coverage live from Yawkey Way. It's Friday Night Fenway presented by Budweiser tomorrow at 5:30. Before the Red Sox take on the Tampa Bay Rays in the first of a 4-game series. The Red Sox trying to get something done here with 2 outs in the inning. Dustin Pedroia struck out swinging in the first inning. One of 4 strikeouts tonight for Chris Tillman. They strike 1 over the outside corner. Tillman holding on to a 1-0 advantage as he works here in the 3rd inning. Drew at third and Victorino at first base. Red Sox 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position in the series. They were 0 for 4 in that category last night. And their first opportunity tonight as Drew becomes a first base runner for the Red Sox to get to third base in the game. Throw to first and back to the bag is Victorino. Pedroia fouls it off to the right and is now down 1-2. Well, Dunkin' Donuts is proud to give back at every Red Sox home game. Dunkin' hosts a nonprofit children's organization. Thousands of kids have had the chance to catch a Sox game thanks to Dunkin' Donuts. Tonight we welcome the BCYF Condon Community Center from South Boston to historic Fenway Park. Dunkin' Donuts committed to the community.
Weed is right now sending out signals to his middle infielders, letting them know if there's a steal at first base, what he's going to do with the ball. Throw through, throw to third, throw back to the pitcher.
Runners at the corners, 2 down here, and a count of 1-2. Pedroia into right field, a base hit. From third comes Stephen Drew. And the Red Sox tie the score 1-1. Big 2-out RBI single for Dustin Pedroia to tie the game.
Al Pedroia was upset at striking out in his first at bat, this time with a couple of strikes on him. Takes the ball to the opposite field for the base hit.
Weeder's out to talk to Tillman as Pedroia picks up his 4th RBI of the year. That's 2 on with 2 outs and now a tie game. Mike Napoli coming up.
Yeah, Pedroia came into the game a .364 hitter against Tillman and 1 for 2 down tonight with that big 2-out base hit.
Napoli 0 for 1. He grounded out to Manny Machado at third base in the first inning. No one fouled off again, and it's 0-2. Covidien, delivering innovative healthcare products across the globe, is a proud sponsor of the Red Sox Foundation. Red Sox in a stretch of 17 home games over 21 days from the 8th of April through the 28th of April. 17 scheduled home games in the month of April for the Red Sox. 0-2 is up high, 1-2. Bruins and Islanders tied up 1-1 now in the second period, so the Bruins have answered.
Yeah, Tyler Seguin with a power play goal.
This one fouled off to the right, out of play.
The Red Sox would like to see a little power play home run here by Napoli. It's pretty good, aren't they?
I don't really follow, though. They don't have an extra man or anything.
I don't.
A power play means that they've got.
No, I know what a power play is. I know. We got a power hitter at the plate.
Oh,
trying to make that, you know.
Okay.
I'm going to tell a couple of the Orioles to get off the field.
All you need is for them to leave, and you'd have a power play. 1-2 is fouled off. Red Sox tying the game, looking for more now with runners at first and second, 2 down. Up and away, and Napoli not chasing. 2-2. 30th pitch of the inning coming up for Chris Tillman. 7th pitch of the at bat for Mike Napoli coming up. That's the jump back out of the way. Full count. Everybody will get a start now with a full count and 2 outs. Third full count for Tillman of the night. Off will be Victorino and Pedroia. Napoli fouls it off to stay alive, and the at-bat continues.
Good job by Napoli. A 3-2 breaking ball that time from Tillman, and of course 3-2, probably sitting on the fastball. Instead gets the breaking ball and is able to foul it off. Just about at the bottom of the strike zone. That might have been called a strike had he not swung and fouled it off.
Victorino at second, Pedroia at first. They'll be running. Here's a 3-2. Napoli lines it to left, and McLeod traps it on a hop. He tried to sell it to the umpire. A run will score as the throw goes to third, and the Red Sox take a 2-1 lead. McLeod tried to make it look like he made the catch, but it definitely got some grass, and the Red Sox take the lead.
I think you'll see on the replay that it's a clear bounce into the glove of McLeod. A nice job, though, by the left fielder trying to sell it to the umpire, as you mentioned, Don, because from up here, it was very difficult to see. They see the ball bounce into the backhand of McLeod. Red Sox pick up their second run after 2 are out with the Napoli RBI. That's 8 now for him on the season.
Well, Rick Adair, the pitching coach, out to talk to Tillman here, running into some 2-out trouble. Red Sox have scored twice. It's time now for a Toyota game break. Here's Tom Caron. Well, the Bruins tying it up 1-1, as here the Red Sox not only tied it up, but they pulled ahead with 2 runs here in the 3rd inning so far. Chance for more, 1st and 3rd, as Will Middlebrooks bats. And Middlebrooks nubs it foul. Lined out to the right fielder Chris Dickerson, and made a nice running catch out there in right field in the 2nd inning to rob him of a base hit. In there for strike 2. This is game 3 of 19 between the Red Sox and the Orioles during the regular season. Middlebrooks fouls it off, protecting the plate. Still down 0-2. 35th pitch of the inning. It's just thrown by Chris Tillman. He's taking a lot out of him here in the third inning. Some lengthy at bats.
And that's 64 total now in the game.
Middlebrooks will chop it towards third. Machado is going to go to first base with it for the out that ends the inning. With the damage done, the Red Sox get a pair of runs and take a 2-1 lead at the end of 3. Eastern Bank. You put your family first, your job first, even your team first. Isn't it time someone put you first? Eastern Bank does just that with products like Eastern Free Checking. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. Now the fourth inning rolls in. A 2-1 Red Sox lead as they get 2 in the bottom of the third inning. And Alfredo Aceves, after a long wait, back on the hill. They're dealing with the hard part of the Orioles order. Adam Jones, Chris Davis, and Matt Wieters expected to bat in the inning. Well, Adam Jones grounding back to the mound in his first at bat. And a great combination of Jones and Davis coming into the game, combining to hit .436. Now have 7 home runs between the two. And 27 RBIs. This is down the right field line. Victorino on the run, but that's going to land in the seats. Going as far as he could go onto the warning track and just kept hooking into the seats. Jim Joyce trying to get Adam Jones back in the box. Took a very long walk. by Saltalamacchia, but it misses for ball 1, 1-2.
After shaking off about 4 pitches, Aceves wants to go with the cut fastball inside. Fastball away.
This one fouled back and out of play. Last time we saw Alfredo, he was working with David Ross doing the catching in a relief appearance. Tonight marks his first start and matched up with Jared Saltalamacchia. Little number in front of the plate that trickles foul, and we'll do it again, 1-2. Adam Jones taking a very long walk each time after each pitch, and good distance away from the home plate area. Returns again, waiting on a 1-2. Two and two. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming up for Jones. His first at bat was only one pitch. He grounded back to Aceves in the second inning. There's Chris Davis waiting on deck. Difference in the game.
That's a couple of changeups now that Aceves has tried with 2 strikes, and both times been fouled off by Jones. Changeup grip, changeup staying inside. He wanted to go away with that changeup, but it stayed on the inside part of the plate in the foul ball. Changeup again.
And a swing and a miss. Strikes out Adam Jones. Third strikeout for Aceves.
Well, that time he got it where he wanted it, down in the zone, just below the knee. Saltalamacchia sets up away, outside part of the plate, low, and the swing and miss.
A 9-pitch at bat for Adam Jones, but in the end, Aceves gets him for the first out of the 4th inning. Here is Chris Davis. Only blemish so far for Aceves in this game, as Davis with a solo home run out to right center field. Last start for Alfredo. You're going to go back to 2011, June 21st. Against the San Diego Padres. He went 5 innings and did not factor in the decision. Allowed 4 runs on 4 hits. He has made 105 relief appearances since that start. So Alfredo working 3 2/3 innings in relief of Lackey through 55 pitches. In that outing when John Lackey had to leave the game, and again shaking off a lot of signs from Jared Saltalamacchia. That just missed. 3-0.
Doesn't matter who's catching. It's very difficult to think along with Aceves.
It was 3-0 last time, and Davis had the green light and homered.
He's going to get a changeup on the 3-0 count this time.
And he takes for strike 1.
Aceves well remembering the 3-0 fastball last time and where it ended up. That time he goes with a changeup.
And he loses him. Down to first base goes Davis. Second walk given up by Aceves as we check in with Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, we would like to get to know our fans a little bit better. So Red Sox fans, if you have a good story of why you're coming to Fenway Park this summer, we would like to hear why. Go to NESN.com/stories and let us know why you're here at Fenway. And I will choose the most interesting entree and interview them during the select future home games. So go to NESN.com/stories for future details. Let's hear your story.
Maybe they're typing their story right now. Pitch inside to Matt Wieters.
You got a pretty good chance if you write your story. You said go in the Fenway because they want to meet Jenny Dell. You got a pretty good chance of winning, I would think, because she's picking him, right?
She's picking him, yeah. Wieters hits this one high and deep to left center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. and Ellsbury back. It'll be Bradley Jr. on the dirt of the track who makes that catch. Ball just kind of died out there in left center field for Wieters. 2 down.
Well, it sure did. Looked like that ball was going to have some of the left field wall when it left the bat of Wieters, but it just did end up at about the warning track. Slight breeze blowing in toward home plate.
So 2 down, Davis at first base, and J.J. Hardy the batter. He struck out swinging in the second inning. Hardy's had a tough start to the year at the plate. 188 average. In there for strike 1 and 1. Line to left, and that ball is going to get down to the track of the wall. There's Davis, heads for third base. Jackie Bradley Jr. gets it back in very quickly, holding Hardy to a long single to the left field corner. And the Orioles trying to get something done now with 2 outs in the inning.
J.J. Hardy jumping all over a fastball that was high and inside. Able to get the barrel of the bat on top of the baseball and lines it down in the corner. Bradley Jr. quickly getting to it. Gets that ball back into second base. Aceves now has to get out of this jam with 2 outs.
And Chris Dickerson coming up in his first start with the Orioles. He struck out swinging in the second inning. Aceves in his career against the O's 5-2, the 2.31 earned run average. His second start ever against Baltimore. This one nub foul, and it evens at 1-1. Again, but all the capacities that Alfredo has been used in his time with the Red Sox. Served as the Red Sox primary closer last year. Career high 25 saves. Was 9th in the American League last year in saves. Finished 55 games, 5th in the American League in that category. And 3 saves that were longer than an inning, 3rd most in the American League. Check on first, very short lead there for Hardy, who's easily able to get back to the bag. Dickerson with a swing and a miss, down 1-2.
That changeup's been a very good pitch for Aceves here in this inning. Last time he struck Dickerson out on a breaking ball, a curveball. See what he goes now with 2 strikes on him. It's like a cut fastball away.
And it just misses away.
Aceves trying to pick up that outside corner. He wanted it and just missed it. Amica Insurance is the proud sponsor of the Amica Pit Zone.
That'll bounce in. Saltalamacchia blocks it. Davis at third and Hardy remaining at first.
Napoli notifying Seves that he will be playing behind the bag. And now deep behind the bag, so please don't throw to first base.
Dickerson reaching out, protecting the plate and fouling it off to the grandstand, off to the left. Bailey, who scored again for the Islanders, and they're on top 2-1. About 4 minutes left to go in the second period. 3-2 to Dickerson once again. And that's ball four, ends up losing him. Second walk of the inning, third of the outing, allowed by Aceves, and the base is now loaded for Baltimore. And the number 9 man, Alexei Casilla, coming up. Casilla grounded back to the mound in the third inning and is only at bat. A chance here with the bases loaded, 2 outs in a 1-run game. In there for strike one to Casilla as Aceves starts off ahead.
Once again, the changeup. He has thrown a bundle of changeups here in the fourth inning.
Casilla with a late swing fouls it off into his own dugout. Well, one of the quiet ways the Red Sox Foundation contributes to Boston is by supporting the Dimmick Center in Roxbury. We thank friends such as H.B. Hood who help make the Dimmick Center a beneficiary of the Red Sox Foundation.
Scoop, scoop, scoop for the home team.
No 2 to Casilla. Strike 3 call over the inside corner, and Aceves gets out of the jam. The Orioles leave him loaded in the top of the fourth inning. 3.5 done. Sox on top by 1. Baseball is brought to you in part by Eastern Bank. You always put others first. Wouldn't it be nice if your bank did the same thing? With products that make life easier and a commitment to helping those in need. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. Daniel Nava leads it off here in the home half of the fourth inning. Curveball for Tillman. Nava, strikeout victim in the second inning. Well, Alfredo Aceves getting out of a big jam in the top half of the fourth, and Orioles leave the bases loaded. Alfredo throwing 63 pitches through the first 4 innings tonight. Nava fouling that pitch off himself on a cold night at Fenway. Jim Joyce giving him a little extra time. Pops it up to shallow left. Nate McLouth jogs in a few steps and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Well, Aceves had to work hard in the top of the fourth inning, but he finally won the battle with the strikeout against Casilla on a fastball on the inside part of the plate. He threw him a lot of pitches away in that at bat, then came inside with the fastball to pick up the strikeout with the bases loaded.
Took a lot out of him pitch count wise through 32 pitches through the first 3 through 29 pitches in the fourth inning. One out of the inning for Jared Saltalamacchia, who takes strike 1. Outfield deep and straight away, and the Red Sox catcher. Going by him, 91 miles an hour. Faster than that. 1-2. On deck for the Red Sox, Stephen Drew. His second game in a Red Sox uniform. That drops in there for strike 3. The breaking ball from Tillman as he picks up his 5th strikeout. 2 down.
Best curveball that Tillman has featured so far in this game, completely freezing Saltalamacchia. Picks up the outside corner on it. Salty thought that ball was going to be away. Instead, it breaks to the corner for the strikeout.
2 down for Stephen Drew. Walked and scored the Red Sox first run in the 3rd inning. Still looking for his first hit in a Red Sox uniform. In there for strike 2 to Drew.
Cold night like tonight, you'd figure it'd be tough to get the grip on that breaking ball, but Tillman's had a pretty good one.
Inside, ball 3, full count. Inside, ball 4, and for the second time tonight, Stephen Drew has a walk. 2-out walk this time for Drew. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Never forget that before you're a patient, you're a person. Beth Israel Deaconess, human first. Learn more at bidmc.org/human first. Jackie Bradley Jr. struck out swinging in the third inning, his second at bat of the night. Ready for his first 23 in the major leagues. Sent foul off to the left, and it's 1-1. Think he has been pressing it all at the plate.
I think it's getting to that point now a little bit. Yeah, you know, you try to get off to a good start. A little trouble up in that series, in particular in Toronto.
Fooled on that, and it's 1-2.
Seen a lot of that too. A lot of curveballs. Struck out on a curveball back in the third inning.
On the ground left side, Machado will go to second base, and Casilla gets there for the force out that ends the inning. Well, we will check out some of your tweets when we come back to Fenway Park.
Best AT&T tweets of the night sent in by you, the fans. This is the exact reason Aceves is such a valuable piece of the bullpen. Hope he leaves in with a chance to win. We got fire, passion, and attitude to win the ball game for today. Go Sox. And Jeremy said, if he can give us a good 6 innings, I'll be happy. And who knows, he can find himself in the rotation.
Well, Alfredo Aceves here working into the 5th inning right now. That was pitch number 64 of his outing. Dealing with the top of the Orioles order, Nate McLouth, 1 for 2. And he'll hook this on one hop, nicely picked by Pedroia. His throw is in time, and McLouth is retired for the first out. Well, it's Sunday's all-new Ultimate Red Sox show presented by AAA. Jenny Dell revisits Will Middlebrook's 3-homer game against the Blue Jays. Peter Gammons talks one-on-one with Dustin Pedroia, and Buck Showalter and Middlebrook School TC in Red Sox Academy. Catch it all on the Ultimate Red Sox show on Sunday at noon. Jack and Brick, can you hear us again from Fenway? And it was Bailey again, huh? Well, so far here, the Red Sox now have a lead after a 2-run bottom of the 3rd inning, and Alfredo Aceves in a spot start working his way into the 5th inning. So right now things okay here. Better help for you guys in the 3rd period. Zach and Brick, thanks much. Back to Dale. And on our side, we'd like to thank Jerry Remy for his contribution. Vic Markakis stands in with a runner at first and 1 out. You got nothing.
I got nothing to say. I don't. I love hockey.
Yeah.
But I don't know hockey, and I just can't. I don't want to bring up something stupid. I know. I'm talking about 2 guys very knowledgeable about their sport, and I don't want to ask a dumb question. At least you know hockey. You do hockey.
Markakis takes the strike hand. It's 1-1.
I say enough dumb things about a baseball game. Never mind a hockey game.
And the check at first base, and Machado back to the bag. It's ruled a base hit. The play that allowed Machado to reach at first base, so his 2nd hit of the night.
If we can do a back and forth with a couple of guys that take naps, I'd have no problem talking about sleep with them.
Well versed. Ace Ticket brings you the pitching line for Alfredo Aceves. 4 1/3 deep, 5 hits, 1 run. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Almost 70 pitches so far for Aceves. There's nobody warming in the pen. A spot start tonight on a cold night from Fenway. 2-1 is chopped down the 3rd baseline, foul.
Actually, Andy Brickley answered the question I was going to ask. Are they skating in center ice? And he said they got to do a better job of that. So what was the point of me asking the question?
He kind of covered it. He took away your thunder. I mean, if you were ready to talk about the neutral zone.
I was going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But, you never know. Maybe next time.
Do you notice that we are so ugly they don't put us on?
I wouldn't put us on.
I mean, the decision was those guys are all dressed up. They look terrific, and they're in one box, and they made the executive decision to put the field on the other box.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right with me.
We got see, now we're in.
We're behind the window tonight.
Yeah,
because it is very cold outside.
It's freezing. There's no reason we should be freezing.
No, absolutely not.
Runner goes, ground ball to 3rd. Middlebrooks takes a look at 2nd, but his only play is at 1st, and he makes it for the 2nd out here of the 5th. Buck Showalter starts the runner, and it works out. Machado in scoring position, now with 2 down. Let's go back down to Jenny, who is cold.
I am cold, but don't worry, I'm all right, guys. Earlier today in the clubhouse, Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, was asked of one word to describe Alfredo Aceves. He paused for a moment, and then he said, creative. So I want to throw it back to you. I want to hear what your one word is to describe Alfredo Aceves. Go.
That's a tough one.
What do you say? Creative?
Creative.
I would call him very creative. That's a perfect word for him because he kind of makes up pitches as he goes along. And
that's not good. You're stealing somebody else's word.
Well,
how about I'm going to say interesting. I find Alfredo Aceves very interesting.
He's that?
Yeah.
He's that. Different.
Different.
That's
good.
Different.
Interesting, different, creative. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. There is action now for the first time behind it. Clayton Mortensen warming for the Red Sox. I think it's hard to sum somebody up in one word.
I think it is too. Yeah, most people it takes a couple of words to, you know. And you've been a little sour today. You know, I don't know what's I don't know what's wrong with you today.
Well, on the ground up the middle into center field, a base hit for Jones. Machado is coming around in a big 2-out RBI single for Adam Jones, and the Orioles tie the game. So starting that runner works out to be huge for the Orioles and what might have been a double play to end the inning.
Exactly right. Probably would have been a double play to end the inning. Instead, Jones continues his hitting streak now to 9 games as he gets that turnover pitch from Aceves and takes it right back up the middle for the base hit. Jones picks up his 9th RBI of the season, so the Red Sox have a couple of runs with 2 outs in the ball game. Now the Orioles pick up 1.
Jones at first, 2 down, and Chris Davis has homered and walked. And a check swing foul.
3-0 pitch back in the 2nd inning from Aceves to Davis, and Davis with his 6th home run of the season. About 10 rows back for the Red Sox bullpen.
Late swing, and he fouls it off. He's tied with Mike Morse now of Seattle Mariners in home runs with his 6th home run tonight. Also a walk in the game, 1 of 3 allowed by Aceves. This is sharply hit off, and Napoli kicks to Pedroia, or to Middlebrooks, and he throws to first base with a shift on Middlebrooks on the right side of the infield. That'll go 3-5-3 to end the inning. Orioles tie the score 2 aside. And in between innings, John Farrell letting Alfredo Aceves know that his night is over after a 5-inning effort. And Alfredo did not appear to be ready to be out of this game.
I think more upset of the fact that he gave up that final run. And this is about the pitch limit they want him at, making his first start of the season.
So 2-2 And Jacoby Ellsbury to lead it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chris Tillman back out there for the 5th. Well, Nessa Daly brings you everything you need to know about the day in sports tonight following our Red Sox coverage. Boston has a buzz with the Sox and Bruins both in action at home tonight. And Nessa Daly will have all the highlights, interviews, and analysis. Nessa Daly tonight following our Red Sox coverage. Ellsbury hits a fly ball to left field. Nate McLouth makes the catch shy of the track for the first out of the bottom of the 5th. So one down in the inning, and Shane Victorino coming up. He's been on twice, reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning and single and scored in the 3rd. Victorino takes strike 1. Tillman in his first outing ended up throwing 99 pitches. Here with one out in the 5th inning. 87 total. 1-1. Popped up left side of the infield. J.J. Hardy to the outfield grass now. The Orioles shortstop makes the catch for the 2nd out. MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Red Sox baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit RedSox.com for details. 2 outs in the 5th inning for Dustin Pedroia and an RBI single in the 3rd inning.
Well, your new toy this year is your iPad. You really enjoy that.
I love the iPad.
I like your iPad.
Really?
You got some great pictures on there, and
you got to get one.
Different ballparks.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I've been trying to take pictures of our view from around the league.
Yeah, every ballpark we go to.
Try to get our shot, and then I put it on my Twitter account at Don Orsillo.
Oh, did you really? How many followers you got now?
I went to 25,000 right
Really?
now. Yes.
That's great.
It's been pretty good for a couple of months, but looking for more. Anybody out there? At Don Orsillo. You can get our view. Some great shots of Jerry from time to time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's some great shots of our World Tour that we took prior to the season. And there's more of you to follow. And this is really only a retaliation for some shots of me that have been on at Jerry Remy or at, what is yours? You don't know. Your Eastern Mass Lexus dealers bringing you the pitching line. 4 2/3 for Chris Tillman. 4 hits and 2 runs.
Something like that.
Maybe we should ask John.
Yeah, he'll know.
2-2 is fouled off to the right out of play. There was a picture of me from high school that he had.
Yeah, I saw
dug
that.
up
I did
somewhere,
see that.
So
I did see that.
Yeah. Two misses to Pedroia. Full count. Fouled off to the right, back and out of play.
Almost bought an iPad for my wife for Christmas. I was thinking about it, but she loves to read. She reads all the time, and you know,
great reading.
It'd be great for reading.
Yeah.
But I ended up not doing it.
You should do it. You know what the best thing about it is? You can read with no lights on because it's lit up.
Yeah.
Fly ball to right field. Heading back is Dickerson. He will reel it in to end the inning. A 1-2-3 fifth for Chris Tillman. We're through 5 from Fenway, all tied at 2. Plumbing and HVAC contractors throughout the Northeast. Visit FWF.com for more info about this proud sponsor of the Boston Red Sox. Let's call the bullpen. It is brought to you by New England Ford Dealers. New pitcher for the Red Sox, Clayton Mortensen. His third appearance, no record at 2.25 earned run average. Worked in 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, and opponents hitting at 267 against Mortensen. Takes over for Alfredo Aceves with the first 5 innings. And we have 2 runs on 6 hits, walked 3, and struck out 4. And Aceves throwing 79 pitches in his outing through the first 5 innings.
A very good night for Alfredo Aceves, making the start tonight for John Lackey. Had a little bit of everything going in this game, and strikeouts. Good curveball right there from Aceves. Also had a very good changeup in the game tonight. And a couple of nice defensive plays, too, by Aceves as he goes toward third base, the backhand, and the ball to first base for the out. And also doing the job on the drag bunt. So a nice job tonight by Aceves, who remains in the Red Sox dugout on this chilly night.
There's Matt Wieters to lead it off in the 6th inning. Wieters walked in the 2nd inning, flied out to the warning track and left in the 4th inning. Mortensen striking out 4 batters over 2 scoreless innings in relief. John Lester on Sunday at Toronto. Drew made his season debut in New York on the 4th of April. High fly ball hit to deep right field. Victorino heading back onto the warning track to make the catch, and that ball died to right. Wieters has given the couple of long drives in this game, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah, not tonight. Not in this ballpark. When it's this cold and a slight breeze coming in toward home plate. Ball off the bat. Looked like maybe would have a chance, but plenty of room for Victorino as he goes back to just in front of the warning track to make the catch.
One down in the 6th inning. J.J. Hardy, the batter. Hardy struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. He singled in the 4th inning. The Orioles are out hitting the Red Sox 6-4 as they come to bat here in the 6th inning. Tap foul. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, Don, there's 14 home games left in April, and Sox fans can use their mobile device and social media to know where the Sox will be all season long. So scan the code that's on your TV screen to download the complete 2013 Red Sox schedule. NESN and NESN.com have made it simple to keep your Sox on all summer.
Don, can you do that? Have you figured out how to do that yet?
No, but I think I can do it with my iPad. You have to get an app to do it.
Why don't you get an app? And we can figure out the schedule. We'll know where we're going to be like 3 weeks from now. You can start packing.
I was already starting to look around for my Cleveland wear today.
Yeah?
Yeah. Started thinking about the suits because it's really 2 suits, 4 combinations. He's got getaway day on Monday, Marathon Monday here at Fenway. So really, that's a day.
Now, when you say 2 suits, 4 combinations, yes, you mean, in other words, you need 4 shirts.
4 shirts, 4
and ties to go with those 2 suits.
Right, 2 suits. That's the way I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Speaking of the Indians, they were rained out again tonight against the Yankees back-to-back nights. So that's happened.
And the latest word we have from Terry Francona, he's still looking for the ballpark.
This one foul back below us. Still a full count to J.J. Hardy.
One bounce. Almost a highlight film catch, except the bounce.
3-2, a high chopper to third, picked by Middlebrooks. 2 down in the top of the 6th inning. Here comes Chris Dickerson, his first start for the Orioles. In the start tonight in right field, a strikeout and a walk in his first 2 plate appearances. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Now, listening to John Farrell before the game, you get the feeling that Joel Hanrahan will not be available tonight.
Had 30-plus pitches in the ball game last night against the Orioles.
I do not question the fact, though, that if he had thrown less pitches, even the result the same, that he would run him back out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That has nothing to do with it, just that the amount of pitches that he threw last night being the key factor in his unavailability tonight. As this one tapped foul.
Red Sox will need good bullpen work again after the start from Aceves in this game.
Total of 47 pitches for Hanrahan in his last 2 games. Pitching on Monday and then on Wednesday. First 2 games of this series. Popped up left side of the infield. Middlebrooks. A little stagger as he puts it away to end the top of the 6th inning. 2-2 game from Fenway as we check in with Tom Caron. Okay, Tom, thanks very much here as we head into the last half of the 6th inning. Game tied 2-2. Back on the mound is Chris Tillman. Napoli, Middlebrooks, and Nava to bat here in the inning. 4, 5, and 6 for Boston. Line to center, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Second hit of the night for Mike Napoli.
And both have been hit very hard. 2 line drives, one to left field to drive in a run back in the 3rd inning. This time the line drive to center field out in front of Adam Jones. So the Red Sox with the leading lady on here in the 6th inning.
Will Middlebrooks 0 for 2. He's lined to right and grounded out to 3rd base. Here's action for Baltimore. Brian Mattis, a former starter, is warming in the pen. Fly ball to right field. Chris Dickerson back a few steps. Makes the catch for the out. Middlebrooks 0 for 3 in the game. Well, welcome back, fans, to Fenway Park. Kids 12 and under eat free. KM Fenway Franks are 2 for 1 all April long, thanks to KM and Aramark. With 14 more home games to choose from this month, there's a game for everyone. Visit redsox.com/tickets to choose your game today. 1 on, 1 out, and Daniel Nava coming up here for the Red Sox. He struck out swinging in the 2nd inning, flied out to left in the 4th inning. Line to right, in for a base hit. Napoli to 2nd on the single by Nava. And Daniel Nava aboard for the first time tonight.
And Nava going early in the count this time, picking on the first pitch. A 7-game hitting streak now for Daniel Nava. There's the first pitch, line drive out to right field. Napoli has to hold up at 2nd base, and Buck Showalter making his way out to the mound to make the pitching change.
So that is the night for Tillman as Mattis has been warming in the pen. Game tied 2-2 with 1 out in the 6th. Chris Tillman hands it off to Brian Mattis into the game here for the O's. Third appearance out of the pen. 3.86 earned run average in 2 1/3. Opponent's hitting at 143 against Mattis. Comes in with 1 out and 2 on as Jared Saltalamacchia turns around and now bats from the right side. As Mattis, the lefty, comes into the game. Saltalamacchia tonight grounding back to the mound and striking out looking. It's Napoli at second, Nava at first base. And Johnny Gomes with the jacket off, grabbing a bat. In the dirt, and it's 3-0.
Now you look down the lineup and you got Drew, then Bradley Jr. You wonder if the Red Sox continue to have something going here where they use Gomes in Bradley's spot. He's certainly getting ready, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is limbering up. Strike over the outside corner. Saltalamacchia taken all the way. This one foul back and to our right. Full count. Single by Napoli to start the inning into center field. Middlebrooks flied out to right field. Daniel Nava with a single to right. 2 on for the Red Sox as they threaten here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Mattis. Saltalamacchia is out number 2 of the inning and a big strikeout for Mattis.
Yeah, completely fooled Salty on that pitch. A breaking ball. Down out of the strike zone, and Saltalamacchia cannot check the swing. Looked like a slide at that time from Mattis.
Two down, 2 on for Stephen Drew. 0 for 4 so far in a Red Sox uniform, but he's been aboard twice tonight with 2 walks. The game summary is brought to you by Xfinity from Comcast. 2-2 game. Tillman goes 5 1/3, still responsible for the 2 men on. Fredo Cevis goes 5 innings for the Red Sox. Napoli's got a couple of hits in tonight's game. Only multi-hit game for Boston. There is strike 2 to Drew. And there's Gomes. He would bat for Jackie Bradley Jr. if this continues. Outside for ball 1. Napoli at second. Nava at first. 2 outs in the Boston 6th inning. Two and 2. Away, and Drew with a patient at bat. He was down 0-2, but a full count now. Everybody will be moving with runners at first and second. 2 down in the inning.
And Mattis tried to put him away with a slider away, but Drew would not bite.
Drew will strike out looking to end the inning. A pitch over the inside corner. Red Sox strength but do not score. Game tied 2-2 from Fenway. So a chance goes by the boards for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's on to the 7th. Game tied 2-2. Clayton Mortensen back on the mound for the Red Sox. Alexei Casilla takes strike one. Casilla has grounded back to the mound and struck out looking. Sent off waivers by the Orioles from the Minnesota Twins. In there for strike 2, 0-2. Red Sox have action in their pen as the inning begins. Andrew Miller is up. Mortensen had a 1-2-3 6th inning in relief of Alfredo Aceves. And a wild swing and a miss from Casilla, gets away from Saltalamacchia, clears the runner, and fires down to first for the out. So the strikeout and the putout that goes 2-3.
Yeah, very nice play by Saltalamacchia there too. That ball in the dirt. Casilla cannot hold up. Saltalamacchia has to chase it down that first base line and make sure he gets out of the way of the runner going down the bag to the bag so he doesn't hit him in the back. A couple of steps to his right, the outside feed to Napoli, the out at first base.
So Casilla retired, back up top for Nate McLouth. A base hit in the 3rd inning, 1 for 3. Foul down the left field line, out of play. Nate McLouth, 31 years of age. Pittsburgh Pirates in 2005, his first major league team. Spent 5 years there, went to Atlanta for 3, back to Pittsburgh. And then last year to Baltimore. Signed by the Orioles as a free agent. That just missed. Mortensen wanted it, 1-2. Most games last year since 2009. 09 was a member of the Pirates. In, and it's 2-2. Orioles have action of their own. Pedro Strop. It's jammed, and there's a little pop-up around second. There is Drew to make the catch, 2 down. Well, tonight's twisted but true fact of the game comes to us from Washington, D.C. Last night, where the game had to be delayed 15 minutes because the umpiring crew, led by crew chief Tom Hallion, were stuck in traffic and did not arrive on time for the game to start as scheduled. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea is the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted.
That's interesting. Stuck in traffic and missing the start of the game. I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
I've never heard of that.
I wonder what the mandatory time is for umpires to be here prior to game time.
I wonder if there is a mandatory time.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I remember when I was playing, there was always an umpire here early to see if there was any fraternization going on during batting practice.
That can't possibly still exist.
I don't think so. If it does, it's just on paper.
What if you were caught fraternizing?
Get fined.
A fine?
Fine, yeah.
A lot?
I think they, a lot of it they ignored. They just tell you, move away, don't chat.
Five in a row retired by Mortensen since coming into the game. This is line fair. Picked up some chalk down the left field line. And Machado pulls it up at first base with his third hit of the game. That one just did hit the chalk.
Well, he was off to a very slow start before coming to Fenway. Had that big home run last night. And now 3 hits in this ball game. This Bailey getting chalked down that left field line. A good bounce, though, out to Jackie Bradley Jr., and he holds him to a single with 2 outs. Out comes John Farrell.
He will take the baseball from Clayton Mortensen as Andrew Miller makes his way into the game with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Game tied 2-2. The Orioles have a base runner at first, and the Red Sox move on to their third pitcher of the night as Andrew Miller into the game. 4th appearance of this season without a record, a 6.75 earned run average. Inning in a third, he has struck out 3 but walked 2. And Nick Markakis ready to bat here with 2 down in the inning. Markakis 0 for 3 in the game. There's ball 1. Our Coors Light refresherator look into the Sox bullpen is Andrew Miller. And his numbers: career against Baltimore, 8 games, 3-0, the 2.45 earned run average. Sox fans, there's a new reliever in town, and he's throwing silver bullets. It's in there for a strike, 1-1. You can't laugh at the promos.
I'm laughing at you read them.
Well, 1-1. A swing and a miss, lunging. That time is Markakis.
That's a pretty nasty breaking ball right there from Andrew Miller. Really, really tough on a left-handed hitter. Starts out inside part of the plate, ends up off the outside edge.
Outside and low, 2-2. Action in the Red Sox pen, Koji Uehara. I don't think we would see him based on the fact he's not worked back-to-back, and they want to stay away from that. But
I think if we do see him, it's probably only going to be for 1 hitter.
2-2 is outside ball 3. See, struck out. McLeod popped out. Machado with a single. Markakis batting now. If the inning continues, Adam Jones waiting on deck. Down and in, ball 4, and Markakis works a tough walk down to first base. We'll stay with Nesson after the game for a complete recap of all the action on WB Mason Extra Innings Live. Tom Karen-Blanker, Nesson's breakdown of all the highlights, as well as clubhouse reaction interviews and John Farrell's post-game press conference. WB Mason's Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. John Farrell out to make the pitching change. Uehara ready to come into this game as we step aside with the game tied 2-2. Top half of the 7th inning. To win a $100 gift card from Nesson to the Yawkey Way team store. Well, first and second here with 2 outs for the Orioles, who are threatening in the top of the 7th inning. Red Sox moving on to their 3rd pitcher of the inning. And it's Koji Uehara into the game for Boston. 4th appearance. He's retired everybody that he has faced. 3 innings worth of work. He has 3 strikeouts. And he'll be dealing with Adam Jones coming into this game and working in back-to-back outings here for the Red Sox. Threw 12 pitches in last night's game. And back out there again tonight as Jones makes his way to the plate. Jones with a single his last time up to drive in a run, picking up his 9th RBI of the season in a 1-for-3 night. Machado at second base. Markakis at first base. 2 down. Line to left, and this is trouble down towards the corner. As Machado comes around from second base, he will score and put the Orioles on top 3-2. Adam Jones drives in his 2nd run of the game. A 2-out RBI double, and it's 3-2 Orioles.
Looked like it might have been a split-fingered fastball from Uehara that stayed up in the zone. And Adam Jones rifles it right down that left field line. So another 2-out base hit by Jones. He's got a couple of them in this game, because this time being a double.
Well, Uehara certainly upset by that. And working back-to-back days last year and 0 days rest. He gave up just 1 hit in 9 games. They're going to intentionally put on Chris Davis. No need to deal with him with first base open. Matt Wieters waiting on deck. This will load the bases with 2 outs in the inning. Well, be sure to get caught up on everything you need to know about the Sox before every game on NESN this season with Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. NESN's pregame coverage of the Sox begins an hour before every game. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, banking the DCU way. Action in the pen as Alex Wilson is up. Called up with John Lackey being placed on the DL. Matt Wieters the batter. Pitch in there for strike. Wieters 0 for 1 against Uehara. Marquez at third, Jones at second, Davis at first, 2 down, a run already in. Baltimore has pulled ahead here in the 7th inning. Wieters will foul it back. Uehara, a member of the Orioles for 3 seasons, 09, 2010, and 2011. We're going to Texas. The 0-2. Fly ball to left field. Jackie Bradley Jr. It started back. Now the wind knocks it down, and he makes the running catch. Wow, where he started, where he ended up, 2 completely different places. The Orioles get the go-ahead run. It's time now for NESN Daily Update with Leah Hextall. CNC will break down the rubber match between the Sox and Orioles and react to Tigers' first day at the Masters. It all begins at 6 a.m. here on NESN and on 93.7 WEEI-FM. Dennis and Callahan, most listened to morning show in New England. Trying to stay warm here at Fenway Park tonight as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Baltimore now on top 3-2. And just as Manis had finished warming up, out comes Buck Showalter.
Well, they announced Johnny Gomes in the game, so he's going to make the change. Gomes was announced. Showalter comes out, makes sure he was announced. Now he's going to go to the right-hander.
So Pedro Strop makes his way in as it's a 3-2 Orioles lead. 3-2, Orioles on top of the Red Sox. As the Red Sox come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning, Johnny Gomes, a pinch hitter for Jackie Bradley Jr., had been 0 for 2. Pedro Strop into the game here for the Orioles. Here's ball one inside at 96 miles per hour. Strop's 4th appearance, no record, but a 9.00 earned run average. Opponent's hitting at 308 against Strop. A little further inside that time, and it's 2-0.
And this will certainly be the hottest thrower that the Red Sox have seen so far tonight. 95-96 on his first 2 pitches.
Strop was in the World Baseball Classic, had 3 wins. Tournament leading 3 wins. The championship winning Dominican Republic. There's a strike, 2-1. Red Sox with action in their pen. Shinichi Tozawa. Now Strop with a 1.67 earned run average in 36 games before the All-Star break last year. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. That was nasty.
Yeah, slider that time. You're sitting on that fastball at 95-96. All of a sudden, Strop's able to drop that slider on you. Hard slider.
Gomes lines to third on the backhand by Machado for out number 1.
Ball hit well by Johnny Gomes, but right at Manny Machado at third base was well off that third base line.
One out for Jacoby Ellsbury.
That Gomes positioned perfectly on that last at bat.
Ellsbury singled back in the first inning, since then a strikeout looking, and he's flied out to left field. Back to the mound, and Strop, he'll run a bit, flip underhanded for out number 2. Turn 2 of your own this summer by pairing together 2 great Sox games at Fenway Park this season, including a Yankees or summer weekend game with a double play ticket package. Visit redsox.com/double play to create your package now. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Shane Victorino, the batter. He singled back in the 3rd inning and scored a run, a 1-for-3 night. Now Strop had some long streaks last year. Scoreless streaks of 13 games, 17 games. And a big part of the Orioles' success to finish games between Strop in the 8th and Johnson in the 9th. Badly fooled was Victorino. Mentioned a 1.67 ERA prior to the All-Star break. Then after the All-Star break, in the second half, a 3.45 ERA. It's not quite as good in the second half, but all in all, a terrific year for him. Made 2 scoreless appearances in the American League Division Series against New York, and picked up the win in Game 4. His ground ball to short. Hardy surrounds it, double pumps, and safe at first base is Shane Victorino.
Looks like in a rush, the throw from Hardy kind of drew Davis off the first base bag. That was almost like a quick pitch from Strop. There's the scoop by Hardy. Cannot get out of his glove, and once that happens, with Victorino's speed, he's able to beat at first base. Actually, Davis did keep contact, it looked like, with the first base bag, but Victorino just beats it.
It has ruled a base hit, and the second hit of the night for Victorino. Now Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia singled back in the third inning. Picked up his 4th RBI of the year.
Victorino with 2 steals on the season. He's also been caught twice. It's like another throw to first base.
Wheeler's able to gun him down once already in this series. Game 1 of the series. Popped up foul out of play, 0-2. Not much success for Pedroia against Pedro Strop. On the ground right side, Casilla will just shovel it to second base for the force out that ends the 7th inning. It's on to the 8th with the Orioles on top 3-2. To you in part by Southwest Airlines, your Subaru dealers of New England, Joseph A. Banks, and by Sullivan Tire. It's on to inning number 8 back at Fenway Park. Orioles have a 3-2 lead, out hitting the Red Sox 8-7. Gomes takes over in left field after pinch hitting for Jackie Bradley Jr. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox, Junichi Tazawa. 5th appearance, 1-0 with a 2.25 earned run average. 4 innings. He has 3 strikeouts, not walked anybody, and opponents hitting at .286 against Tazawa. Struck out a season high 2 batters in a perfect 7th inning last night against Baltimore. Picked up his 2nd hold of the year. There's a strike over the outside corner. J.J. Hardy 1 for 3, a single back in the 4th inning. There is action for Baltimore in their pen. Darren O'Day, the sidewinding right-hander. Zauer, the 5th pitcher of the night for Boston, is 0-2. Chris Dickerson on deck, then Alexei Casilla expected to bat. 7, 8, and 9. Hardy strikes out. That pitch over the outside corner, 93 miles an hour. Froze him, and he's out number 1 of the 8th.
It's Zauer going to the outside part of the plate to pick up the strikeout. Everything away from J.J. Hardy in that at bat. And just barely picking up the corner. Amica Insurance is the proud sponsor of the Amica Pit Zone.
One out in the 8th, and Chris Dickerson, the batter. He struck out in the 2nd inning, walked in the 4th, popped out to third base in the 6th inning.
What a tough grinding ball game this is. A 3-2 1-run game. Very good pitching in it. Runs tough to come by.
Zauer jumping ahead 0-2. Seen some balls knocked down tonight. Balls that looked like we were going to get at least on the wall that didn't get there.
Not exactly a hitter-friendly night here at Fenway.
Too far outside that time. 1-2. Zauer at 95. .46 career major league relief outings for Tazawa and a 2.72 earned run average. He's allowed a run or less in his last 44 major league games since 2009, and of course a Tommy John surgery mixed in there in between. Swinging a foul off Saltalamacchia.
Tazawa going with the curveball topped and looked like it got Saltalamacchia right off the knee, off the shin guard on the knee.
One-two is lined into right center field. Dickerson with a wide turn at first, but he'll return to first base with a one-out single. His first hit of the night. Well, David Ortiz rehabbing tonight in Pawtucket. Jenny, how did he do?
That's right. Finish up his first game in Pawtucket, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. John Farrell said he'll need 20 to 30 at-bats with the Paw Sox before he returns up here to Fenway Park. That puts him on track to rejoin the Sox during the team's April 19th to the 21st series at home against the Royals.
One out, one on. Alexei Casilla, the batter. Low throw to first, but back to the bag is Dickerson. Jose Iglesias hit a 2-run home run in that same game. Let's say Casilla chopping one right side. Pedroia will go to second for one. Return throw to first, not in time. And Casilla reaching at first base. Dickerson forced out at second.
Good job by Pedroia. He knows it's going to be almost impossible to get a double play on that, so he does not rush. He just makes sure he gets that lead runner in a one-run game. Pedroia having go to his left, make sure he gets that forced out at second base. Drew tries for the double play, but really no chance to get it. Keep a man out of scoring position.
Two down, Casilla at first base, and Nate McLeod the batter. Out for the single back in the third inning, a 1-for-4 night. Seventh start of this game for the Red Sox. First 5 innings giving up 2 runs. Clayton Mortensen touched for a run in an inning and 2/3. Miller and Uehara also working in the game, and Alfredo back to watch in the dugout. In there for a strike. Five innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. He walked 3, struck out 4 in his spot start here tonight. Strike 2. Red Sox will have Napoli, Middlebrooks, and Nava expected in the bottom of the 8th inning. Darren O'Day continuing to warm in the O's pen. First 2-2 to Nate McLeod. In the dirt, gets away from Saltalamacchia, and Casilla will take second base. Wild pitch, charge to Tazawa.
Tries to go to the split-fingered fastball, and it gets just far enough away from Saltalamacchia to allow Casilla to get into scoring position. So the Orioles do eventually get their man to second base by virtue of the wild pitch.
On the ground right side, Pedroia to his left has got it. On to Napoli for the out that ends the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Orioles on top by 1. on Nesson during the 2013 season. S&S Express will donate $500 to the pediatric trauma program at Boston Children's Hospital for every home run hit by the Red Sox, and to date donated $5,500. Hess and Hess Express committed to helping the cause. Well, the Red Sox have work to do, trailing by a run as we head to the last half of the 8th inning. Baltimore out hitting Boston 9-7. The Orioles move on to their 4th pitcher of the night, Darren O'Day. 5th appearance, 1-0, has not given up a run in 4 1/3, and opponents sitting at just 0-77 against the sidewinding right-hander. Mike Napoli will try his luck to begin things here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, a check swing foul.
Saw O'Day in the ball game last night, submarine style delivery. That fastball running right back in the hands of Napoli.
Down 0-2.
Both pitches by O'Day up in the zone. The first one up and in, that went up and over the middle of the plate.
Will Middlebrooks and Daniel Nava here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Napoli pops it up left side of the O's infield. J.J. Hardy makes the catch for the first out of the 8th.
I think all that by design by O'Day, trying to stay upstairs on Napoli. All 3 pitches up in the zone.
One out for Will Middlebrooks. 0 for 3 in the game is line to right. Grounded out to third base and fly to right. Middlebrooks now 0 for 10 in the series against the Orioles. And 0 for 2 in his career against Darren O'Day. Ball and a strike now to Middlebrooks. Fouled off, 1-2. Red Sox more action in their pen. Alex Wilson, we've not yet seen yet. The right-hander up in the pen. Middlebrooks softly lines out to the second baseman Alexei Casilla for the second out of the 8th.
What a job has been done by the Baltimore bullpen in this game. Mattis, Stroke, now O'Day.
And 2 down here in the 8th inning, and Daniel Nava has struck out, flied out, and singled. 1 for 3. And there for strike 1 to Nava. And Darren O'Day was big in the AL wildcard game last year in the postseason. Texas, 2 scoreless innings. Of course, the Orioles moved on from there. 0-1 is a high fly ball to right field. Dickerson coming in, Wynn knocking it down, and he makes the catch that ends the inning. Sox down in order. We head for the 9th. It is 3-2 Baltimore. Saw plenty of it last night and may see more of it tomorrow, but it's raining right now as the Orioles have a 3-2 lead in the top of the 9th inning. Alex Wilson into the game here for Boston. Last year with the Pawtucket Red Sox, got into 40 games, 5-3 with a 3.72 earned run average. Opponents hit at 270 against Wilson a year ago. Called up by the Red Sox. John Lackey going on the DL.
Now with the Severs in the starting rotation, Red Sox needed another man in the bullpen. Wilson gets the call. We saw an awful lot of him in spring training.
Manny Machado leading it off here for the Orioles. And Wilson, a second-round pick in 2009. Played exclusively at AAA last year with the Paw Sox. 2-0. Jim Johnson, who came in to grab the save last night, back up in the pen, getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. Scheduled is Saltalamacchia, Drew, and Gomes. 2-0 pitch popped up, foul, and out of play off to the right. Two-one. Low and away, 3-1. Alex Wilson, born in Saudi Arabia, who resides in West Virginia. As that is ball 4, and down to first base goes Machado. Leadoff walk here in the 9th inning. We'll stay with Nesson after the game for a complete recap of all the action on WB Mason Extra Innings Live. Tom Caron will anchor Nesson's breakdown of all the highlights, as well as clubhouse reaction, interviews, and John Farrell's post-game press conference. WB Mason Extra Innings. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. Lead runner on for the Orioles in the 9th. Nick Markakis takes ball 1.
Probably nerves involved right here. Major league debut for Wilson, and Saltalamacchia are out to the mound to try to calm him down, get him back in the strike zone. Try to keep this a 1-run game going to the bottom of the 9th.
Two and 0. There's a strike, 2-1. Troy Patton and Jim Johnson both up now in the pen. On the ground left side to short. Drew to second for 1. On to first for 2. Nicely dug out by Napoli. Well, Wilson needed that, and the double play turn to the Red Sox infield. 2 down.
Now that'll help calm the nerves a little bit. He was having difficulty finding the strike zone. Eventually gets a strike, and then the ground ball right to Drew. Fastball away, right to the shortstop. Couple of steps to his right, and Pedroia doing the rest, with Napoli cleaning things up at first base.
Two down. Adam Jones, the batter. A 2-hit night for him. 2 runs batted in. Strike 1 over the outside corner. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Swing and a miss, strikes out Jones to end the inning. So nice job by Wilson as he gets through his major league debut. 3-2 Orioles have the lead. Bottom of the ninth inning at Fenway Park. No home runs hit tonight by the Red Sox, keeping the Sox current home run total at 11 for 2013, with Hess donating $500 to the pediatric trauma program. The Boston Children's Hospital for every home run this season. 2013 total now stands at 5,500. Our thanks to Hess and Hess Express, committed to helping the cause. Well, Jared Saltalamacchia would like to pop one right here to tie up this ball game. He is 0 for 3 tonight as he takes ball one from the closer for the Orioles. Jim Johnson, second night in a row. His 5th game of the year, 3 for 3 in save opportunities. First time that he has pitched back-to-back this year. Did it 20 times last year. On his way to 51 saves. Saltalamacchia fouls off the 2-0 pitch.
Salty's sitting on a fastball in that 2-0 count. He got it, but fouls it back. Good pitch. Right down the middle of the plate, about belt high.
Saltalamacchia takes strike 2.
And he thought that ball was high. And according to the Amica pitch zone, right at the top of the strike zone.
On the ground down the line at first, it is a foul ball. Well, that was very close, right down that line.
It'll be tough to get one by Chris Davis in fair territory because he's right about on top of the line. See, only a couple of steps off that first base line, and that ball clearly in foul territory.
Ball 3, full count. Saltalamacchia against Johnson. 1 for 8 in his career, but the one is a home run. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call, and Saltalamacchia thought he had ball 4, but he gets the bad news from Jim Joyce.
Well, that ball appeared to be outside. When Saltalamacchia goes back to look at that on tape, I think he's going to see that it is quite a bit outside.
One down here in the 9th inning as Stephen Drew has walked twice and struck out in his second game. Fouls off the first pitch. Drew 0 for 1 in his career against Jim Johnson, who has the first out of the 9th inning. Johnny Gomes, who came in to pinch hit in the 7th inning, waits on deck. 2-1. Drew lines one into left center field for a base hit. Nate McLouth over to play it as Drew is aboard with 1 down in the 9th. First hit in a Red Sox uniform for Stephen Drew.
He's been on base 3 times tonight. A couple of walks back in the 3rd and the 4th inning. And now the base hit here in the 9th with 1 out. That fastball tailing away from Drew, and he takes it to the opposite field in the gap for the base hit. So that brings power to the plate and Johnny Gomes.
One out, 1 on, and Gomes, the battery, lined out to third base in his only at bat tonight as he pinch hit for Jackie Bradley Jr. in the 7th inning. 3 for 14 on the season for Gomes. Gomes almost got hit with a pitch. Strike 1, 1-1. Two career walk-off hits, both home runs for Gomes. Tying run at first for Boston with 1 out. Top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury waiting on deck. Gomes chops it foul and is down 1-2. Gomes cranks it foul hard into the Orioles dugout.
Well, Johnson trying to bury Gomes inside with that fastball, and Gomes way out in front of it, pulling it foul. Let's see if he goes to the breaking ball now after that pitch.
Gomes strikes out for the 2nd out of the 9th. Second strikeout for Johnson.
After the fastball in, the breaking ball away from Johnson, goes to that curveball to pick up the strikeout.
2 down. Stephen Drew at first base, and Jacoby Ellsbury coming up. He singled back in the first inning. Sets out a strikeout, fly out, and a ground out, and a 1-for-4 night. Orioles trying to hand the Red Sox their first series loss of the year. Ball 1. Two for 12 is Jacoby against Jim Johnson in his career, 167. Ellsbury cranks one to left field. McLeod going back onto the track to make the catch. The Orioles hand the Red Sox their first series loss of the year. As a tight one tonight from Fenway Park, the Orioles beat the Red Sox 3-2 in a grind-em-out ball game tonight from Fenway. Tom Caron.